socializing your ball python. So when you get a new pet, such as a ball python, when they're young, like a hatchling, a lot of times they're not used to being handled by humans, so they're afraid. So they'll snap at you out of trying to protect themselves, or defensive strikes. If they do bite you, it's not because they're aggressive, they're afraid. So socializing a ball python, all that means is you just gotta handle it day after day after day after day until that ball python is used to you handling it and used to being held by people. See how it's jumpy and fidgety? Eventually, the more you handle it, it will stop being jumpy and fidgety. See the tongue flicker? That's him being very curious, trying to learn his environment, trying to make sure everything seems safe. The faster the tongue flicker and the longer, the more nervous and afraid you can tell the snake is, or more inquisitive. But at the end of the day, like I said, the more you handle a ball python or any other snake that's not venomous with your hands, eventually it will get used to you or anybody handling it. I tend to spend about at least 10 to 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, even an hour, with certain reptiles that I have, just so they can get used to the handle of a human handling them. Because every time when you take it out in public or whatever, people want to hold it, they want to touch it, and you don't want your reptile biting people, or you don't, and you definitely want to prove the stereotypical statements wrong, where they say that these animals will kill you and they're very vicious and etc. But they're not. They only do what they do because they're afraid. This little noodle right here, he ain't gonna hurt nobody. Even if he was to bite me, it'll be a little prick. It won't even be that serious. Now the bigger ones, they might hurt. You might bleed a little bit more, but you don't need to go to no hospital. Now other snakes, such as like a big boa or a retic or a Burmese python, if they bite you and they're already full grown, you may need to go to the hospital after you get bit by one of those. So those, you definitely want to make sure that you socialize them. There's no such thing as taming a snake. You ain't gonna be able to tame a snake like how you could tame a dog or a horse or whatever. But you can socialize them to where they're used to being handled. And it's just a process you go through every day. As I'm talking to you in this video, I'm letting the snake crawl through my hands, and I'm continuously moving my hands with it. And use these techniques. Use these techniques every day with your animals to make sure that they get used to us. Eventually they'll be okay. Like, he's very jumpy. See, when I touch his head, he's very jumpy. But after some time, he will probably stop pulling back. But right now, nah, he's jumpy. He's ready to go up in a ball. But I'm trying to keep him, out and open and, get used to this. All right, that's all I got for y'all. Y'all have a good one, all right? Peace.